Hey guys, it's Tim, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited, as we're here with yet another PW Unlimited podcast. This is episode number 54. Taking it solo tonight as Nick had to work. He may be in the chat, we'll see. But let's see what's going on, everybody. Let's see who is with us here. We've got Kristen McNutt, Mega Choro, The Face, Saprit Ramnathgar, MTG, Mesmer Hart, Mega Choro, we said that one already. Slam Hub Wrestling, DJ McDaniel, the Legend WWE Fan 619. We've got Jessica Streech saying it's Sabu's birthday. Happy birthday, Sabu. George John Cox. What is going on, everybody? If you guys do want to call into the show, you can do so. 559-475-8473. We'll be taking calls here in a moment. 559-475-8473. Marcus Faye says in the chat options, who had best title reign of 2018. Talking about that, we'll get to it towards the end of the show. We are doing our PW Unlimited year-end awards. We've got them all set up. We've got our nominees and everything, but you guys are going to pick the winners. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Who's nominated, how you guys can vote, where you can go to vote, all that good stuff. Also, if you do want to support PW Unlimited, you can do so by either going to gawkbox.com/PW Unlimited. Do some things on their website. Costs you nothing. Helps us out. Also, go over to our TeePublic store, tpublic.com. Search Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Check that out. The store is currently 30% off, and as an official TeePublic store, an official partner store, we are able to work with their partners, their other artists, and we're going to talk about one shirt that we've been promoting this week here in a little bit. Let's go. Let's see what you guys are asking in the chat. Chad Davis says, winner of the next NXT tapings. I can look that up during the show and get back to you. Let's see. What else do we got here? I don't know why Skype is... Okay, anyways. So, I got asked a lot of questions today after NXT aired. Whoa. Why was Tyler Breeze on NXT? What was Tyler Breeze doing on NXT? And honestly, it was just a one-time thing. They had Tyler Breeze on NXT. They did a whole, basically, North American Championship Open Challenge. They had Tyler Breeze come in and do the match with Ricochet, which was a really good match in my opinion. I liked the match itself. But that's all it was. It was a one-time thing. They're not going to have Tyler Breeze on NXT every single week. He's not going back to NXT. So for all the people that were asking, and I've seen some people in the chat already, Tyler Breeze went for the North American title. Sean Cook, yes, he did. Jessica Street says, is the info I got info on Roman I got true? What info? Because there's nothing new on Roman. Last thing we knew was he was a tribute to the troops. Other than that, we haven't heard anything regarding Roman Reigns. But going back to the Tyler Breeze thing, he's only on there for 1 week. It was just a one-time deal. I would like to see somebody like a Tyler Breeze maybe go down there and spend time down there and get spotlighted. Maybe till Fandango's ready to come back. Fandango. Maybe till he's ready to come back. You have him stay down there. But Triple H did say in the last conference call, he said, hey, it's not a demotion if any guy goes down and works an NXT show or even works in NXT. It's not a demotion if you go from the main roster down to NXT. He doesn't want it thought of, yes, it's developmental, but he doesn't want it just thought of the developmental brand. He wants NXT thought of as the third brand, when technically I thought the third brand was 205 Live. But with that, excuse me, Triple H did say that we may see in 2019 some guys move back down. But it's not a move down in his eyes. It's just lateral shift over. Just like when guys go from Raw to SmackDown, guys may go from Raw to NXT, or NXT to Raw, Raw, SmackDown. And that's what they're going to do. So maybe when they do the next Superstar Shakeup, you may see an EC3 come up and an Apollo Crews go down. Just an opinion. I don't know anything, oh, they're going to move Apollo, but it'll be interesting to see but here's the thing too. Triple H talked about that a lot this year. If a guy goes down to NXT, it's not a big deal. And I see the face say Tyson Kidd did it. The reason Tyson Kidd did it was because he was out so long with his knee injury that, excuse me, that they felt like he needed to go down there. He needed to work with guys because also he'd never been a singles guy in WWE before the knee injury. He got hurt. He did the knee injury thing. Did the recovery. He was out for a very long time. Harry got released. And then they went from there. And he did amazing in NXT. I thought Tyson Kidd was great in NXT when he was doing the stuff with Tyler Breeze, with Neville. I think there's one other person. I can't remember who it was. I remember they had a really good fatal 4-way match for the NXT Championship. I can't remember who that fourth person was. Let me look it up here. Travis Ray says, I want NXT versus WWE. I wouldn't do that. I would not do that at all. For the simple fact that if you do that, you know the main roster is going to have to go over. Vince is not going to let NXT go over, maybe like at a couple matches, but in the end, it's going to end up WWE versus WCW, and WWE buries them. So, I mean, that's just the cold hard facts. It's just, if they were to do, okay, it was Sami Zayn that was the fourth person in that fatal 4-way with. It was Neville as the champion, Tyler Breeze, Sami Zayn, and Tyson Kidd. Great match. Great match. Yeah, you guys are not saying it in the chat. It's just the fact of, if they do it, NXT is going to have to lose in the grand scheme of things. Like, you can do, because they would probably do it like a Survivor Series. You have the main roster, you have 5-on-5 matches, men's, women's, tag teams, there's some singles matches here and there and that on there as well. But in the end, whatever match is set as the main match that matters, main roster is going to go over. Is that right? Is that wrong? I don't know. And the other thing with that could be, okay, well, how many main roster guys get pinned, make to lose or whatever in that, you know what I mean? So it'd be tough to do NXT versus the main roster, in my opinion. I think it would be really tough, but they could do it eventually maybe, but I wouldn't. Julio Aquinado asks in the chat, just lost his questions. He was asking about WWE ruining the main AOP. Kind of. But also, here's the thing you got to look at. So AOP came to the main roster as this dominant tag team from NXT. Who else came to the main roster as a dominant tag team from NXT? The Ascension. Ascension held those NXT tag team titles for like 300 days. And then they come to the main roster and were almost immediately goobers, jobbers, goofs, geeks, whatevers. Within like a month. At least AOP has gotten the tag titles at least once. Have had strong-looking matches. Yeah, they did the squashes and all that. But the Ascension just quickly were made to look like goofs, in my opinion. But with that, let's take a call. If Skype will pick it up. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, Tim.
How's it going?
Okay. The video you put up earlier about Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Yes.
Here's my theory is this. If they come, both of them come right after WrestleMania,
okay.
What if both of them return, but turn a both baby face?
I mean,
to take a revenge on Bobby Lashley and Lower Rush.
I want to say thank you for the call. And on that, I mean, that could work. They don't really have Leo Rush wrestle too much on Raw. I mean, he did wrestle this past week against Elias, but by the time they come back after WrestleMania, yeah, they can be wrestling again. Or they can have Leo Rush wrestling more on Raw. That would be cool. I could see Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn coming back as like a team, and the whole wanting revenge on Bobby Lashley thing, they could maybe do that. But the whole thing is we don't know when Sami's coming back. Dave Meltzer did report this week that Kevin Owens could be cleared in late February, early March. Now, with that, we don't know about Sami. With Kevin's coming back or being cleared in late February, early March, that may not be enough time to clear him, or not clear him, but get him a good program before WrestleMania. So what you can do is you can do what they did with Sheamus at WrestleMania 31 time. Sheamus was cleared and ready to go, but they held him off till the Monday after. Next year, Cesaro was the same way. Cesaro was good to go. I don't know exactly how far in advance these guys were good to go, but they were good to go before Mania, and they held him to the Raw after. So you can do the same thing with a Kevin Owens. If maybe he's cleared in March, you go 4 weeks for a return and a build to Mania is just not enough time. So let's just wait and we'll have him come the Raw or the SmackDown, which it would be the Raw since he is a Raw roster superstar. You can have him come back that Monday after. That would be that's what I would do. It's a surprise. Well, it may not be a surprise to everybody because we'll probably hear, hey, Owens is coming back tonight. We'll probably hear something about it. But it's like Sami's thing, though. If you remember, last time Sami Zayn had to have shoulder surgery, he had a lot of unexpected setbacks. He had a lot of pushbacks. His injury, his recovery time got pushed back, and he didn't come back as soon and early as they projected. And that was from a single shoulder surgery. Sami had double shoulder surgery this time. They said everything was smooth and well when they did the surgery, but all right, Liam, timeout. But it's just the fact of we don't know if Sami's going to have another setback this time. When he first had the surgery, they said that it was maybe likely that he can come back before WrestleMania, but not very. Just slightly likely, if that makes sense. But if he is ready to come back right after Mania, him and Kevin Owens coming back together, that'd be cool. That'd be great. Have them a tag team. They can come back in, want to get their revenge on Bobby Lashley, like the caller said, have Lio Rush involved in there as well. And then they get the upper hand, and then they become a tag team on Raw, go for the Raw tag team titles. I'd love that. I would love to see those guys as a tag team go for the Raw tag team titles. You don't have to have them as a tag team long. Have them win the titles and then drop them after a month or so. Just something different. Something cool. Something we haven't seen before with those guys. And go from there. I really like that idea of bringing them back possibly as a tag team and then seeing what they can do. Just reading through the chat here. Julio Oquando, I hope I said your last name right, says, could Matt Hardy be the next GM of Raw? I mean, they can do anything they want. If Baron Corbin loses on Sunday, he supposedly... Now, here's the thing nobody's talking about. If Baron Corbin loses on Sunday, he doesn't become the quote-unquote full-time Raw general manager. Right? Hear me out. But Stephanie never said, I just thought of this. Stephanie never said, if Corbin loses, he's fired as the general manager. He could still be acting general manager until she finds that full-time replacement. I never thought about this. So could Braun Strowman win at TLC and Corbin still stay on as GM, just not, quote-unquote, the full-time GM? I didn't think about that one. It's a good thing. But as far as the question goes from Julio, Matt Hardy being the GM? I mean, they teased it on WWE.com. Who knows? I mean, Matt's kind of traveling. He's doing PR stuff. So it's not like he's not opposed to going to Raw every week. If he was cleared to wrestle, he would be at Raw every week. So it'd be weird. Matt as an authority figure. It would be weird. Luke Might says just bring back Kurt. Yeah, just bring back Kurt. Why not? Kurt was not bad as the Raw general manager, in my opinion. Support Ram the Car says, when will they air Tribute to the Troops? Tribute to the Troops will air Thursday, December 20th, 1 week from tomorrow. Travis Ray says, have you read what Jimmy Jacobs said about how it is in the WWE writing team? Yeah, he basically said, So Jimmy Jacobs, who used to be on the writing team, who actually came up with the list of Jericho and stuff, kind of defended the WWE when it came to 3-hour Raws and stuff, saying that, hey, it gets tough to write 3 hours every single week. It gets tough to write shows where you got to try and make things different every week. You got to try and do some different things here and there. And I didn't read too far into it. I saw the initial tweet or whatever, where he was just basically saying, give them slack. It's hard to write for 3 hours every single week. You've got so many different people trying to write, and then you got Vince who's got to approve it. So I understand that, but at the same time, they do a lot of repetitive things. Like, you'll see the same match 3 weeks in a row sometimes. And the thing about that, it's just like, change it up sometimes. Like, we don't need to see Baron Corbin versus Finn Balor 3 weeks in a row. We don't need to see Dolph Ziggler versus Drew McIntyre 2 weeks in a row. Benjamin A. asked, will Raw go back to 2 hours? No. USA Network wants 3 hours. They're paying good money for that third hour. And as long as they're paying, WWE will do what they say, kind of, as far as time frame. So, as per on the card, will you do a review of Final Battle? Possibly. Not sure yet how my Friday's looking. Possibly. The face says they used to write 4 hours, no problem. About a decade ago, when 4 hours for what? A Raw? There was never a 4-hour Raw. I don't know, unless you're talking Raw and SmackDown is 4. Because, yeah, I don't know where you're getting the 4-hour thing from. Miles Rowan says on Rumor Roundup, they said that Matt Hardy rehab went well and he might get back on TV as a character. I don't know what Rumor Roundup is. I've heard that his rehab is doing okay. I haven't heard. He's not getting cleared or anything. But I don't know what this Rumor Roundup thing is. Just looking at the chat. If you guys do want to call into the show, give your thoughts, opinions, ask a question. The phone number is on the screen, 559-475-8473. Kaya Orton 106 says, are you watching Wrestle Kingdom 13? Oh, yeah, for sure. There's a lot of good matches on that card. We can actually talk about that right now if you want. We can run down the card for Wrestle Kingdom 13. Let me pull it up here. They did announce the entire card for Wrestle Kingdom this past, well, I guess it was Monday in Japan. Let me pull up that card for you guys. I do have it here. As we continue to look at the chat, Reese Ray is asking, what is the main event of TLC? They're pushing it like it's going to be Corbin versus Strowman, but it could be the women. It could be the women. I can see that. I can see it being the triple threat women's TLC matches with. Like, I was gonna say ladder match, but it's actually TLC. As far as a Wrestle Kingdom goes, Colby, I do not see your comment. If you want to type it in again. But as far as, well, first off, we're talking TLC. For TLC, if they go with what's the thing? The women's three-way, I think the fans would like that more than if they went with Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin, especially if Braun is not 100% and that match is just going to be a whatever match. Now, moving on here. First off, Chris McNutt, $2 Super Chat donation. Do you want Alexa Bliss to turn a babyface slowly? I wouldn't mind it. I like her as a heel, but if she's going to be an authority figure, I think... Oh, no. Alexa's really good as a heel. I'm just going to say that. And I like her as a heel. She can go babyface if she's going to be an authority figure. If she's going to be a wrestler, I think they should keep her as a heel. Colby Duran says, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. We did talk about Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn already. We don't know when they're coming back. They could be coming back the night after WrestleMania. That's the rumor. Well, not even the rumor. That's just what people are saying. That's what I suggested. because Kevin Owens is possibly going to be cleared before WrestleMania. So I say they hold them off to the Monday Night Raw after. Now, moving forward, talk about Wrestle Kingdom. So the card here, unfortunately, they're no longer doing the New Japan Rumble on the pre-show, which is their version of the Royal Rumble. They bring in legends. They bring in guys from Ring of Honor. They bring in guys from all over that can do some really cool things in that match. Different matchups that we've never seen before. I like the New Japan Rumble. Unfortunately, they're not doing it this year. Instead, on the pre-show of Wrestle Kingdom will be a gauntlet match to crown new number one contenders for the never openweight six-man tag team titles, which the six-man tag team champions are Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, and Ishimori. The winners of this pre-show gauntlet match will then go the next night at New Year's Dash and get a never openweight six-man tag team title shot. As we move on to the main card, Kota Ibushi will be defending the never openweight title against Will Ospreay. The Guerrillas of Destiny will be defending the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles in a triple threat against the Young Bucks and Evil and Sonata. I know there's a lot of fans that are kind of upset about this because the tag title match is supposed to go to guys that did well or won the World Tag League, and the Bucks weren't even in the World Tag League. They just weaseled their way in, I guess you can say. With the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles on the line, another triple threat match. We will see Kanemaru and Desperado defending against Roppongi 3K and Bushi and Takagi. With the Revolution Pro British Heavyweight title on the line, Tomohiro Ishii will be defending against Zack Sabre Jr. The IWGP United States Heavyweight title on the line, Cody will be defending against Juice Robinson. I saw that first match live. It was a great match. Sean Cook, no, it is not easy to write 3 hours of Raw 52 weeks a year. Trust me. With the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title on the line, Kushida will be defending as Taiji Ishimori. Kazuchika Okada will be going up against Jay White. Chris Jericho will be defending the IWGP Intercontinental Championship against Tetsuya Naito. And in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom, the IWGP Heavyweight Championship on the line, Kenny Omega will be defending against Hiroshi Tanahashi. I don't know the exact start time. I can look that up right now. I can get it for you guys. Wrestle Kingdom will start. Wrestle Kingdom will be live on both the Fight TV app, which they're charging $34.99, and it will also be live on the why am I blanking on this? It'll also be live on New Japan World. Why did I blank on that so badly? And New Japan World is only $9.99. So I'm not trying to undercut Fight TV here or anything, but go with New Japan World. It's cheaper. Way cheaper. It will start at 3 Eastern, midnight Pacific. I think that's when the main card starts. It could be when the pre-show starts. I'm not 100% sure, as Fight TV does not list. It just says one start time. Doesn't say anything about pre-show or anything. So I think that's going to be really cool. It'll be a great show. It's stacked. Looks great. Looks awesome. Wrestle Kingdom last year was one of the better shows of the entire year. I'm excited. Luke Might with the $1.99 Super Chat donation says, will Pete Dunne ever lose the UK title? Yeah, eventually. I mean, why not put it on Walter? Walter's going to the UK brand. So why not put the title on Walter? Super says, Kota Ibushi finally won a title. Yeah, Kota Ibushi finally won a title. But you also got to think about Kota Ibushi's presence and stance in New Japan. He's not officially signed. He's just working there on basically a handshake agreement. Travis Ray says, why would you pay $40 when you can get it for $10? Exactly. Colby Duran says, hey, do you think Kushida would sign with WWE? I don't know. That's a tough one, because when you look at how they've used their Japanese stars over the last couple of years, Hideo Itami was one of the first coming in. Then you had Tozawa. Then you had Nakamura. Then you had Asuka. Well, Asuka and then Nakamura. I think. Who came first? think it was Asuka and then Nakamura. Either way, they've all been, especially like the what's his name? Well, with why am I blanking again? I'm having with Tozawa. I mean, he won the cruiserweight title, but then he lost it really, really fast. So that's put him on 205 Live. He's there. He's whatever. With Tommy, his whole thing was he was supposed to be in that position Finn was in NXT, and then he got hurt, had to have surgery, and was gone for like a year, more than a year actually. And so they put Finn in the spot. They slid Finn in there, and they were just like, you know what? We're going to put Finn in this slot. It was supposed to go to Dale Tommy. I mean, remember, he beat Finn at the WrestleMania Access for WrestleMania 31 and was added to the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. They were giving him opportunities, and it just didn't work out. Now he's on 205 Live, not getting opportunities, just a guy. Then you have Nakamura. Yeah, he's the U.S. champion, challenged for the WWE title at WrestleMania, but I don't know. Asuka's been, probably as all the Japanese stars they have, used the best. She's been used better than the rest. So if Kushida were to come in, I just fear he's a small guy, and Vince just goes, oh, put him on 205 Live. Kristen McNutt with the $5 Super Chat donation says, question 1, how's Big Cass doing after the seizure? Heard he's doing okay. Don't really know major prognosis or anything, but I heard he's been released from the hospital and he's doing okay. Question 2, if you were a writer, how could you fix the ratings for Raw and SmackDown? That's a tough one. I don't know if you can say just bringing one guy in or bringing new ideas can really help the ratings, because the ratings are just down for everything. If you look at TV ratings in general, they're down. I'm not trying to make excuses for WWE, but like I said earlier, one thing I wouldn't do is repetitive matches every single week. You don't want to see, go back to the examples, Finn Balor and Baron Corbin 3 weeks in a row. You don't want to see Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre 2-3 weeks in a row. Like, I fear we're going to see that again next week, possibly, depending on what happens after TLC. And it's just, that's the main thing. We don't need so much repetitiveness. Now, I know sometimes, if it's a good feud, like the Charlotte and Becky, go to it. But also, look at Charlotte and Becky. They don't wrestle every week against each other. Yeah, they can't right now because they're saving Becky for TLC because they don't want her to get hurt again. But it's the fact of you can't be doing the same things over and over, because then the fans are going to forget and they're going to think, wait, is this a rerun? Is this a new show? What am I watching here? And I think that's one of the major things that needs to be fixed. No. Dragon Ball Radiant says people like violence. You don't need violence. You can have... Here's the thing. Back in 99, I think it was, there was a show when Vince McMahon came on and said, we're going to be more family friendly. We're in a PG era. And that was the Attitude Era when they were at the hottest they ever were. And now everyone tries to blame the PG era, but they've done PG things. They've been PG for longer than you think. So, I don't know, guys. It's just the fact of, that's my one thing. If there's anything that they can do to fix it right now, it was stop the repetitiveness. Liam, thank you for the $2 Super Chat donation. Really don't have any thoughts on that. Sean Cook says, bring back the Fist Arena. Why? Why? It ran its course. It was cool, but to me, it ran its course. It's whatever. Looking at the chat here, you could still have solid wrestling and storytelling without TV 14. Exactly. You just need better storytelling. It's not that, oh, well, you can't do cool things if you're PG. Yes, you can. You really, really can. Looking at the chat here, NXT is better than the main roster. Yeah. Because here's the thing with that. So when you watch NXT, do you see The same people wrestling every single week, week to week to week. No. Triple H believes, and he said this on multiple conference calls, he believes that you don't need to have every guy on the show every single week. If somebody's on a show one week, depending on their position and storyline at the moment, yeah, put them on the show again the following week. But if they're not needed, you don't have to put them on the show. It's not like a thing where it's like, whoa, we got to get Drew McIntyre on every week. We got to get Finn Balor on every week. We got to get Dolph Ziggler on every week. Why? Give them the night off, or have them just cut a promo. You don't have to wrestle every single week. And then, when you haven't seen that guy wrestle for 2 weeks, then all of a sudden you see, hey, Drew McIntyre's in a match against whoever. You're like, cool. Haven't seen him wrestle since 2-3 weeks ago. I'm pumped. Drew McIntyre's great. You can have guys go out there and maybe do a vignette-style promo, like an Undisputed Era kind of thing, where Undisputed Era doesn't wrestle every week on the NXT, but they don't let you forget about them because they do their backstage Undisputed Era promo deal. And I think that's another thing. Daniel Bryan's been doing that. Daniel Bryan will wrestle on SmackDown, then the next week he won't wrestle, and then he'll wrestle again the following week. He gets breaks here and there and this and that. And I believe that's a good thing. Now, no. Suprit says Brock Lesnar's not there every week. No. But that's too much. Brock Lesnar, your Universal Champion, doesn't need to be there every week. Like I said with Ciampa. Ciampa's not on NXT every single week. His presence is made known because they bring him up as the NXT Champion and whatnot. But it's the fact of, as long as your champion is present, as far as you know, okay, the champion's here. He's willing to defend his title. He's not just going to, sit home for 6 months and then come back and say, hey, they're making me defend it. It's a fact of, he's here. Yes, he may not be on the show. He was on the show last week. But we know that, hey, this is the progression we're going with this title. With the Universal title, who knows what we're doing? We know we're going to go to Royal Rumble and probably do Braun versus Brock, but I don't know. That's the one thing. Repetitiveness and what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say, oversaturation. Could be another good word. Mega Choro says, did Raw have its lowest ratings again this week? Yes. Lowest ratings for a Monday Night Raw 2 weeks in a row. Dynamite 3199 says Lesnar takes it a little too far with not appearing on the show. Yeah. But at the same time, that's how he's booked. That's how they've structured his contract. And it's not that Brock got the title and said, okay, I'm not coming to the show. It was they made the decision to put that title on Brock Lesnar. They made that decision to say, this guy's a part-timer, but we're going to give him the title anyways. Devin Wellington says, how would you book NXT stars on the main roster? Depends on who. You can't book them, like EC3 needs to be booked differently than a Velveteen Dream. I'm going to butcher this name. Reshikesh. How can anybody offer more money? I don't know what you're asking there, though. Offer more money for what? Cake is Overrated says, do you think it's easier for an independent wrestler to go straight to the main roster than go through NXT first? An example would be Styles being more successful than Balor or Joe. It depends on the guy. If you're a big name already, like a AJ Styles, no, skip the main roster. If you're a big name here in America, Joe could have skipped NXT and gone straight to the main roster. Finn Balor, no. Shinsuke Nakamura, no. Because those are two guys that the WWE audience may not know who they are. So you put them on NXT for 3 or 4 months, and then the WWE audience sees who they are. So that way when they do come to the main roster crowd that does also watch NXT can be like, I'm ready. I'm excited for this guy. When you already have like an AJ Styles who's been wrestling on Impact for 13, 14 years, who's been in pro wrestling for 15, 18 years, however many years he's been around, you don't need that. Let's get him acclimated to our fan base kind of deal. Mike Bennett should have went to NXT. I know why he came to the main roster, because of his wife. Should have went to NXT. Yeah, a lot of people knew who he was from ROH and Impact, but not enough And then they also didn't have a plan for him. The face says, no way Kenny Omega goes, no. Kenny Omega, even though he's coming from New Japan, and I did make the reference of Finn and Nakamura came from New Japan, that was a different era. That was before New Japan was so readily available and the New Japan stars were so readily known here in America. Kenny Omega is such a huge star here in America, not just with New Japan, but he's being the elite. And he does independence rarely, but he does independence. He's so known. He can come to the main roster straight off and be fine because everybody knows who he is. But like I said, with a Finn Balor, a lot of people may not have knew who he was that watches just WWE or just North American wrestling. At least Kenny Omega is what you call ingrained in the North American wrestling scene. So, Rishikesh says Lars Sullivan is lurking. As far as Lars goes, I don't know what they're doing right now because the way Corey Graves talked on Tuesday and the way that they did his video package this week made me believe he's going to show up at TLC. But with that, let's take a call. And Skype is not wanting to call. You're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, Tim.
Yes.
Okay. What I think where Lars Sullivan will be after TLC, I think he should be on SmackDown. I would give you one reason why he should. I know Mr. McMahon says he loves big dives on Raw, but you don't have to put all the big dives and monster on Raw. You must have a monster on SmackDown. So whoever the big dive or the monster is the dominant and the bigger guys had to win every match.
Well, he doesn't sorry to cut you off. He doesn't have to win every match. I mean, when he first comes in, make him dominant, make him win a lot. And I do agree. I've been saying since the Lars Sullivan video package did start airing, I did say put him on SmackDown. There's too many big guys on Raw already. Put him on SmackDown. So I do agree with that.
Yeah, and I think he should prove with someone who like I think he should prove with Rusev or the guys who haven't been on TV for a while. Like Ty Dillinger or
Dillinger's hurt, so Dillinger can't wrestle right now. He's got a hand injury. So that's why you haven't seen him in a while. But I do want to say thank you for the call and have a great night.
You too.
Now, I've said this for weeks now. I've said put Lars Sullivan on SmackDown. There's a lot more. He's still a little green. We saw that in the Aleister Black match takeover. He's still a little green. But he's got room to improve. He's going to be really good. And, well, what's the word I'm looking for? There's more guys on SmackDown that he can learn from that are, I don't want to say higher quality wrestlers. That may be the bad word or analogy to use. But I think there's guys on SmackDown that could be better for him to work with. Because when you think about it, you got guys like an AJ and a Joe and a Daniel Bryan, Rusev. They're guys that we've seen them have good matches with guys of all shapes and sizes. They're not just good with smaller guys or just good with bigger guys. And Lars Sullivan needs to learn that. And SmackDown's got that. You got Rusev and a bigger guy, Joe and a bigger guy. You got you got Daniel Bryan and AJ's a smaller guy. So we'll see where it goes. Mega Choro, Styles versus Omega for the WWE title. I don't think Omega's coming. I don't think Omega's coming to the WWE. Don't think he's going to come. Everyone says Omega should come and be the man. I don't think he can come. I don't think Kenny Omega is going to come and be the man. But who is the man? The man right now is Becky Lynch. And if you like Becky Lynch, you may want to check out this new shirt we do have up on the PWUnlimited TeePublic store as an official TeePublic partner store. We are allowed and able and willing to help promote other artists on TeePublic. This shirt right here, shirt, cell phone cover, pillow, however you want to get it as, was created by Portrait Team. Great artist, and we're helping promote him this month. Go over to our store, or you can go straight to his store. The link is in the description if you do want to check out our store. Everything right now is 30% off, so go check this out. The shirt's going gangbusters. Everybody loves this shirt. Sold a bunch of them this week. If you want to get your own, go over there and check out this cool new The Man Becky Lynch t-shirt on the TeePublic, PWUnlimited TeePublic store. Right now, everything is 30% off for the holidays. I think if you order by the end of the week, they do guarantee that you will get it in time for Christmas. If you do want to order it as a Christmas present, again, head over to the PWUnlimited official TeePublic store. Put the link in the chat as well. Everything is 30% off, and you can get it as a t-shirt, as a hoodie, as a cell phone case, as a notebook, as a pillow. Go check it out. And also, it doesn't just help us when you buy from our store. Also helps out Portrait Team. So as we go forward, Chad Davis is asking about New Japan. He's asking if they would do a press conference, and they did do a press conference this past week when they actually announced the official full card. So they've already done a press conference. Megatro says Becky Lynch versus Tessa Blanchard sounds like a great match. Could be, but Tessa's signed to both WOW and Impact Wrestling. So she ain't coming to WWE anytime soon. I don't know how long her Impact contract is for, though. LF Third says WWE would make Kenny Omega a jobber. No. Have they made AJ a jobber? I mean, just look at that right there as your comparison. AJ wasn't a jobber, so why would you think Omega would be? Devin Wellington says, do you think Finn should get push? Do you think Finn should get the push I mean, I think he should have. Yeah, I agree. He's asking if so when Finn first came to the main roster, push straight as champion. Should they do that push again? Yes. I do think they should. But the fact of the matter is Vince saw him get hurt so quickly. Vince is, he's injury prone. When guys get hurt, it's the Revival. They got hurt right when they came to the main roster. Injury prone. So there's nothing we can really do about that. Support asked about Johnny Impact. I don't know when his contract expires. He's also under a Lucha Underground deal that can also prevent him from going other places as well. So that's a tough one. But let's take a call. Calling on the air. What's going on?
It's the face from the chat.
How's it going?
Let's say Cody and the Bucks call you up, and they say, Tim, you are a talent relations of AEW.
Okay.
Vince McMahon hears this, and he says, Tim, I don't think AEW has any chance in hell of being successful. I'm so confident in this. You can have any three superstars in one tag team from WWE. Who do you take and why?
My tag team's the Revival because Revival's solid. We've seen in NXT, they can have good matches with big guys like AOP. They can have good matches with little guys like DIY. Boom, there's my tag team right there. Don't even have to think about it, AOP. Okay. Then I'd take, you said any three guys?
Any three guys.
I'd take AJ Styles. Again, another guy that can work against any style. I would then take Daniel Bryan because not only is he a great technical wrestler, he can fly around in the ring as well, but he's also a good promo. And then finally, I take Becky Lynch. Not just because she's super red hot now, because I think that she's been underutilized for a while in WWE. And I think that if she could get out of the, I guess you could say, WWE umbrella and show more of her personality that we see on social media and whatnot, she be even better than she is now.
Mm. I can't disagree. I was hoping you'd say Finn in there somewhere because they were criminally misusing him.
I thought that,
but yeah,
I did think Finn, but I was just like, if so, you're asking like right when AEW starts, like first startup,
right?
I would think the reason I would take Daniel Bryan and AJ over Finn, not because they're better than Finn, they're bigger names,
marketability,
and marketability.
I can't I mean, like, the wrestling world needs AEW to be a thing like a flower needs sun. Like, we need this. We need this as bad as I don't think wrestling fans can comprehend. Like, they may not never like be direct competition like WCW, but we need something to put a little heat on WWE, just a little heat, just to make them say, hey, what are these guys doing? Because WWE's trying to play it cool, like, oh, we're not worried about them. They'll never get a TV deal, blah, 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 whatever. But we need something to put a little heat on them just to make them attempt to change something up.
Now, here's an interesting thing. You bring up AEW getting a TV deal. So Turner Sports with TNT and their Bleacher Report streaming service just signed One Championship, which is an MMA group. They're possibly looking to get more combat sports for the Turner Sports promotion or Turner Sports umbrella. So maybe if the AEW guys can pitch whatever they're working on to the Turner Sports people, whether they want to put it on TBS, TNT, or their Bleacher Report live streaming service, there you go. There's a viable streaming service right now without wrestling.
They could be seeing like Fox Sports get into the wrestling game, thinking, "Hey, that's an avenue they're dipping into. Maybe there's waters to be field to be tapped there." So maybe
no one can go to Fox Sports because WWE just signed with them.
No, I'm saying Turner Sports sees Fox Sports get into the wrestling thing with their deal. So Turner says, "Hey, maybe we can get into it as well and make the money ourselves." I mean, it's plausible. I mean, I'd be okay if they even got a deal on Access because I do have Access. I have DirecTV. A lot of people have DirecTV, even as many who have Comcast. But even a TV deal with Access would be huge.
It would be, and we reached out to when they first started talking about someone starting up a new wrestling company. We reached out to our contact at Access, and they said that they haven't been in contact with anybody other than they're working with New Japan and they're working with the WOW Women's Wrestling. Other than that, they're not talking with any other wrestling companies right now. So unfortunately,
AEW would be. Not to cut you off, AEW would be separate from New Japan. Like they wouldn't have any sort of.
It would literally be a brand new company. It'd be separate from New Japan, separate from Ring of Honor, separate from MLW. Just basically be a brand new startup wrestling company, and they've got to work out deals to get a roster. And
it blows my mind that ROH, New Japan, Lucha Underground, which I love to pieces, why they haven't pulled their resources and say, if we put our resources together, put our talent together, we could dominate abroad and here.
Right.
I don't know why that hasn't happened yet.
That's kind of what ROH and New Japan are doing.
Well, yeah, they borrow stars. You see guys on both shows.
But their thing is they're stuck in their ways, I feel. At least ROH is. As far as they're not getting on any big streaming service or any big TV networks. Now, granted, I know here in Central California, we can watch Ring of Honor on the weekends on either the CW network or Fox. But it's never the same time every week, and you don't know which one is going to end up on that week. Either Fox, most of the time it's on Fox on a Sunday afternoon. Yeah. But they need to get a stable. They tried to get on Destination America when Impact was also going on Destination America, and that didn't work. But they need to get some sort of a stable time frame of, okay, you want Ring of Honor, watch it at this time, this day, every single week. Yeah, they upload to the Fight app every Monday their episodes after they aired on the weekends, but I don't know if that's enough.
Right. I mean, I think it's always on every Saturday at midnight, which, I mean, if I'm up, sure, I'll watch it, but I mean, it's I don't want to stay up till midnight every night.
Yeah, and that's
to watch Ring of Honor. I mean, that's a lot of people's thought.
That's the thing here. It's I'll sometimes see it on a Sunday afternoon at 5 p.m. on Fox, but I've also seen it just randomly come up at 2 in the afternoon on the CW network. Because here, they're both owned by the same company. I think Sinclair owns both of those stations here. So
Yeah,
that's the other thing. They need a stable place where people can watch. And that's what AEW
just
needs
in
to
time,
find.
where we know every day at
Exactly.
this time on that day it's going to be on. Where we know Raw 8 o'clock, SmackDown 8 o'clock, Monday, Tuesday. We know that that's a given. But yeah, they need something that's just consistent. And I'm rooting for AEW as hard as I've rooted for anything. I mean, I'm a diehard WWE guy my whole life, but man, we need something else. We need something for us. I mean, there's plenty of wrestling out there. I'm not saying there's something for us. There's ROH and New Japan and Lucha Underground and everything, but like, what those guys could potentially do, it feels big. It feels big. Like it could be something big. But
does, and I know Tony Khan, who is the one, his father Shahid Khan has got the money, owns the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's a huge pro wrestling fan. From what I've heard, he's been trying to get his dad to get into the wrestling business for a while now. And so now that they're linking up with Cody and the Young Bucks, he's finally getting what he wants. So, and the other thing, I think he is an analytics guy, sports analytics guy, Tony Khan. So he knows what to look for as far as, okay, this is working in this is not working for this. He does it with MLB teams. He does it with hockey teams, I think. He does it with NFL teams. So he's a guy that knows how to look at different demographics and look at different markets and different things. It's okay, this is working here, but it's not working here. Let's shift this to this. So I think that's another key thing that can help a new wrestling company. A guy that knows analytics, knows how to check the demographics, check out the different, I don't know how to phrase this. He knows marketing too, and that's another thing. You got all these promotions.
Then I just jump in and say, well, hey, Daddy, I like wrestling. Buy me a wrestling organization. It's like, all right, we're going to do this, but we're going to do this right. We're going to look at the numbers. We're going to turn a profit. We're not going to do it just for your entertainment.
Right. Not like with Dixie Carter, who she was like, oh, you want me to help run this company? I don't know anything, but I'll do it anyways.
Right.
So, but, and then the other thing I've talked about too with AEW is they need a good roster. Not just a roster of, oh, we know who all these guys are. They need a couple guys too that you haven't heard of that they can build as AEW stars. Not, oh, well, that guy came from ROH, or that guy's an old WWE guy.
Right. I mean, the talent pool is deep. I mean, the talent pool is as deep in wrestling as it's ever been globally. I mean, that's definitely a plus. You know, their names will bring the eyes, and then the eyes of, you know, they'll bring new people like the NXT UK. My friends, no one watches it but me. Like, these guys are awesome. These guys don't know who half these guys are. And it's like, Pete Dunn brings me here, but since then I've discovered all these different guys. That's exactly the same approach they're going to need. That's why, like you just said on the podcast, like Omega, I want Omega in WWE. I don't, but in AEW, he would be the man, the star, and he would bring the people there, eyes at least. And so, I don't know. It's going to be exciting 2018. Like I said, January, he's teasing an announcement that's going to be bigger than anything before. Yep. So we'll see. I'm trying to contain my excitement, but it's hard. It's hard.
But I do want to say thanks for the call and have a great night.
All right.
No, I mean, I don't want to harp on this again. I've said it before. The whole thing with AEW is they need to get a solid roster of both guys we know of, but also guys we don't know of that they can build as stars. Moving forward within 2019, whether they announce, okay, we're starting this AEW company. Say January comes, they say, okay, we're starting AEW. We're going to be running shows on this date. Our first show is X date. We got these guys on the card. These are our roster. Go to this website to see the full roster. Boom. Okay. But that's only good enough if you've also got guys that, maybe we've heard of but are not stars yet. So, because you don't want to do what Bischoff did with WCW. You don't want to build a roster and say, oh, that's just an ex-WWE guy. That's just an old WWE guy. Oh, I saw that guy in WWE. You can't just go in there and go, oh, that's a former WWE guy. That's a former Ring of Honor guy. That's a former New Japan guy. You've also got to have guys that are like, wait, who is this guy? This guy's great. And you build him as a legit AEW star. Going back to WCW, the only person they really ever did that with was Goldberg. So that's 2019. Hopefully, we'll see how that goes. But as far as 2018 goes, 2018 was a great year for professional wrestling. And within 2018, we've got our 2018 year-end awards. We've got our nominees set, but now we need you guys to go vote. We want to hear from you. You guys will be picking the winners. Head over to PWUnlimited.com/2018 year end. Fill out the sheet, I guess you can call it. There's a Google form that will come up. We're going to run down all the nominees right here for you. We've got 10 categories. First off, we've got Podcast Wrestling, Podcast of the Year. Nominees are Something to Wrestle, The Steve Austin Show, 83 Weeks, The Jim Ross Report, and the ENC Pot of Awesomeness. Moving forward, the next category we do have is the Best on the Microphone. We've got Paul Heyman, Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens, Alexa Bliss, and The Miz. We then have the Best a Weekly Wrestling Show of the Year. We got Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, NXT, MLW Fusion, and Being the Elite. Being the Elite being on there is kind of a controversial one because some may say that's not a weekly wrestling show, but it kind of is for the fact of it airs every Monday on their YouTube channel. And it airs every Monday on the YouTube channel, sorry. And it does progress storylines sometimes within Ring of Honor or New Japan. So that's why I feel like it could be added. It could be seen as a weekly wrestling show. Going forward, we've got the major show of the year, basically pay-per-views, iPay-per-views, WrestleMania 34, WWE Evolution, Wrestle Kingdom 12, New Japan Pro Wrestling's Dominion, and NXT TakeOver New Orleans. Next up, we have Feud of the Year. Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa. Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler. Kenny Omega versus Cody. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. And AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe. Next category we do have here is the Match of the Year. We've got Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa from NXT TakeOver New Orleans. Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch from WWE Evolution. Kazuchika Okada versus Kenny Omega from Dominion. Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho from Wrestle Kingdom 12. And Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Kota Ibushi from the G1 Climax Finals. Going forward, we've got the Most Improved Wrestler of the Year. Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, the Velveteen Dream, Juice Robinson, and Filthy Tom Lawler. We then got Tag Team of the Year. Tag Team of the Years are the Usos, The New Day, Pentagon and Phoenix, SCU, or the Undisputed Era. So we wound down 2 more categories left. You got Female Wrestler of the Year. You got Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, Tessa Blanchard, or Toni Storm. And finally, Male Wrestler of the Year. Kenny Omega, Roman Reigns, Cody, Tommaso Ciampa, or Seth Rollins. So those are our nominees for our 2018 year-end awards. I do see some of you guys with some discrepancies here in the chat. We only put 5 nominees. I know some are saying you left some stuff out here, you left some stuff out there. Only got 5 nominees per each of the categories. We tallied up, looked at everything from 2018, all the different matchups, all the different wrestlers, promotions, who did what here, who did what there, and this is what we came up with. And now, like I said, we want you guys to vote for the winners. We will reveal that in mid-January. We're going to give you guys about 3 to 4 weeks to put your votes in. We will be plugging this here on the channel. We'll put it up on our stories. We'll put it on our Instagram, our Twitter. Go to pwunlimited.net/2018 year end. Google form will come up where you guys can vote and go from there. Thank you guys for joining me here on the PW Unlimited podcast, episode number 54 tonight. Took it solo. Nick and I will be back possibly sometime before TLC to do our TLC predictions, and then we're going to be live after TLC. We'll let you guys know what our TLC plans are, because we got some things we may or may not be doing. We may go, we may not go. So thank you for joining me. You can follow us right here on YouTube, on Facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD, at PW Unlimited on Twitter. And of course, you can find us on Instagram. You can find me basically everywhere at Timmy Buddy. Have a good night, guys.